Richard Akello had a tough day today. Is there anything that you say to him as a veteran to kind of help calm him down about that?
Yeah, you got 24 hours. Win, lose, or draw, regardless of the outcome, regardless of how you play, you got 24 hours. You look at the tape, you correct your mistakes, and you move on. That's what you do, and regardless. If he played and had 5 picks, tell him the same, because it doesn't matter how good you played or how bad you played one week. This is the NFL. The next week is a whole new beast. You're facing a whole new team, whole new scheme, and you better, if you caught 5 picks, they're going to test you again. If you got 5 balls caught on you, they're going to test you again, regardless. So that's this league, and I think he's going to bounce back.
They largely stayed away from you most of today. When did you realize that, hey, they're not coming this way?
I didn't realize it, I guess, when the clock struck 0. I covered my man. I was there a majority of the time. Stafford looked that way a few times, and he pulled the ball back. I would have had 2 or 3 picks had he just let it go. In the red zone, the play before the touchdown, I would have had a pick. And the last play of the game, if he would have threw it, I read it, ran the route for him. I was waiting on him to throw it, and he ran the other way. But, you just work hard. You work hard to study guys. You spend your time. You put the time in to recognize these routes, these formations, and you go out there and you play fast.
Richard, on the Garoppolo's pick that was negated by the holding call, were you watching that at the time?
Yeah, I knew the exact play. I saw him running in practice, and that the linebacker backed off, and he knew the play as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough play once he backed off, because it's one of those where they're kind of running the guy into him, and the guy got to get over the top, and he did a great job getting over the top.
Richard, I asked your coach about not throwing at you. He said, yeah, if you watch the film from last week, you do the same. Do you feel you're at that level where you've been?
I'm always at that level. I think. At the end of the day, nobody doesn't, you know what I mean? If people think I'm not at that level, then they're just not watching tape. I think it's more rumors, it's more he say, people that aren't watching tape saying, hey, he had an Achilles, he's falling off, or he gave up 48% instead of 47, he's falling off. If you look at my numbers, I've led the league in every category since I got in it.
What sort of pride do you have then that you go?
I got a ton of pride. I go out there every day, and I don't want anybody to catch a ball. I don't care. Regardless of what I'm coming from or what injury I'm coming back from, I let you guys write those stories. I don't play like that. I play every play like it's my last, and I play to keep my man from catching ball.
Richard, you've done this for a long time, so I assume I probably know the answer, but is there ever a time where you have to guard against getting bored over there? What? When
I was younger, definitely. When I was younger, third year, fourth year, it's just like man, what do I do now? Now that I'm older, I get involved in so much else in the game. Like if there's a check down, once I recognize the entire play, then I'm helping other guys get in position, helping other guys recognize the ways they're trying to attack us. D&D, I'm getting involved in the run fits. I'm keeping myself involved in other ways. So as a young guy, you're just like, man, I'm not making an impact when I'm not making interceptions or batting the ball down. And I just took it. A coach once told me, if they're not catching the ball, your guy's not catching the ball, and you're assigned to them, that's doing your job at a high level.
I saw you went and talked to Stafford afterwards. You kind of followed him there. Is that something you do with quarterbacks all the time, or just specific to this?
I got a ton of respect for Stafford. I got a ton of respect. He came out there and battled the whole game. He executed down the stretch. He made some unbelievable throws. He made some really risky throws, and I have a ton of respect for how he plays the game. He had a tough week last week, and he bounced back incredibly. He was slinging it. He's a gunslinger, and I've always had a ton of respect for his game, and we rarely get to play him. I think I played him 3 or 4 times in my career, so I just wanted to say something to him. I don't have his number like I do A-Rod and Tom and all those guys. So.
When a young corner has a tough game like Witherspoon did today and gets picked on a little bit, is it tough to maintain confidence?
No, it's grown. Each person is different. Okay. I can't speak for how he's going to respond, but I believe in him. And I think he believes in himself. There were just simple mistakes. And he got a little handsy on the plays, and it just, it's like, what's the theory? When everything, what is it? Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. It's one of those things where Murphy's Law kicks in, and some people respond to Murphy's Law with a laugh, and say, oh, man, it can't get no worse than this, so I might as well just put my foot in the ground and make a ton of plays. And some people kind of fold up, so we'll see how he responds this week, but I think he's going to respond well.
Richard, we've seen you very upset about holding calls. I assume you thought that was a good call, the holding call on George Kittle.
Which I actually didn't see it. Honestly.
Oh, that was the one that negated their interception.
Is that what they call it? Is that what? Oh. Honestly, I wasn't even looking over there. I was looking at the other side of the field, so I didn't see what happened. I just saw the flag on the field. I got to see it, but I mean, it's a tough call in this league, and you know, it's hard. It's hard as defensive football players in general. You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you know a guy can run up, two-hand push you, and you know, as a human reaction, as a human, you're gonna reach out and grab. You know, you get pushed back, you're gonna grab to like keep yourself, and that's what happens a lot of times. I didn't see the play, so I can't really comment on whether it was a good play or not. But it's tough on defensive players.
What do you take from this game? It's obviously a win, but
It's a win. A win's a win, but it feels like a loss to me. You know, we played like crap down the stretch on defense. You know, offense, they gave us 30 points. You know, it was 30-13 going into fourth. We got to execute down the stretch. Stafford's a good quarterback. They're a good team, but we got to execute down the stretch, and we got to play better. I think it's a good learning lesson for a young team that we needed. You know, it's a humbling lesson. Thank goodness we got the win out of it, but it's a lot of good tape, a lot of good learning from this. I think it's going to be a humbling experience for a lot of our players.
Achilles is a huge injury, but there was levels to get back. When did you know you were back to yourself?
Honestly, probably around June, July. You know, when I had the DB Academy, and it was, you know, just being out there with all those guys. We were doing so many quick twitch movements, and I hadn't done any quick twitch. I had barely started running at that point in time, and I was able to do it. I was able to get my foot in the ground. I was able to trust it, and I wasn't hesitant at all. You know, I wasn't like, hey, this is my Achilles side. Like, is it ready to go? I honestly wasn't thinking about either side because I had surgery on both. So it's like, you know, you got to trust both of them, and I really knew that if I could trust it like that this early on, then I'd get better week by week, and I'm feeling better week to week.
Richard, are you surprised that teams maybe haven't tested you yet, considering that there was that perception that maybe you would be a step slower with that Achilles?
I think that's just a perception. I think teams are watching the tape, and if they saw me getting beat on tape, they'd throw the ball over there just like they would anybody else. If they see me in position to make plays, they're going to avoid me, and I think I put myself in a lot of positions to be able to defend a lot of passes today.
Richard, you mentioned that despite the win, it'll be a humbling lesson when you guys watch the tape. Is that purely execution, or is there a mental state that young teams have to learn to kind of close teams out?
Both. It's execution because Salah called an incredible game, and on 3rd and 15, with the game on the line, they've run the same play over and over and over, and the corner has to hinge on the backside. You just got to do your job. That was fundamental. That wasn't like they just, you know, ran a better play. They actually ran what we expected them to run, and we just didn't execute. So that part is execution. But I think it was a mindset of kind of taking a side when you're up 30-13, you know. And I thank goodness we came out with a win because we get to take it as a learning lesson instead of a hard learning lesson.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
There we got Jimmy here.